I really should stop doing this. I don't mean making videos, I mean I should stop leaving it to the last minute because it gives me no time to make a decent video. And I do want to improve, but alas, I keep on doing this to myself. So today I'm going to talk about why I make photos. Now, when I use the term make, there's a few reasons why I do that. Now, I watch YouTubers like Evan Ramps or something like that. I can't remember his name exactly. But he's a photographer, really good photographer. He's a Nikon user, I'm a Canon user. Like, that's important, but anyways. And he doesn't like using the term take photos. He prefers using the term make or create. And I can completely get that, because sure, there is certain photography where you basically take the photo, you capture the moment and document it, and that's 100% like awesome and all. But I edit my photos quite a bit, to the point where it's not necessarily documenting anymore, it's more creating and making a piece of art in a sense. And that's why I use the term make. In saying that, why do I do photography? There's a good reason for it. I didn't really think about photography at first. It wasn't until I was maybe 17 years of age when I had my iPhone. I started taking photos and editing them, and realizing I enjoyed editing photos quite a lot. I thought, oh, this is quite fun. So for a year I was shooting on my phone for most of the time, on Instagram, using filters, and then eventually editing them myself. For the longest time I used the editing software on my laptop, the cheap, not the free software that you get with Apple, which does the job for the most part, and it allows you to edit RAW as well, which I didn't expect, but it does. Anyway, so I was working with my phone for about a year, and then I went on to a Fuji X Pro 1, delightful camera, and then onto a Canon Rebel, a Canon Rebel of some sort, one of the older ones. Wasn't the best camera, and now I'm on this one. I've learned so much over that time, and realized creating photos is a hobby that I continue to enjoy. There were times though where I questioned if I enjoyed it anymore, because with digital there are no limits. You can take as many photos as you like. If you have a big memory card, that could be all day, you could be taking photos. There are no limits to the editing process. And sure, I love making these epic photos of these beautiful lighting, of like first thing in the morning, last thing at night, and all this shenanigans of landscape photography, and sure, I love doing that. But there were moments where I questioned, why do I make photos anymore? I'm not enjoying it the same way as I did. And it's the same with my art. There will be times in my life where I don't draw. Like, there was a whole 10-year period of my life where I didn't draw. I just didn't. And I know I'm 21, but like there's like, even in my young age, I find there's times where I just fall in love with a hobby, and that's okay. But recently, I haven't been taking photos because I've been busy. I want to take photos. This drive to create is in me. I just need to allow myself to do so. And the reason why I make photos is because I like sharing the beauty of life, the world, of everything around me, of how I see the world. Because even without a camera in my hand, I still look at the world in a photographer's eyes. I still see composition, lighting, and beautiful scenes that I want to capture. And that's what drives me back to taking photos, to creating photos even. And I eventually fell out with digital and was wondering why I wasn't liking it anymore. And then I got into film. With film, this is just the cheap 15 £6 camera with a £15 lens. Like, this is a this is a £30 setup. And I get so much joy. I haven't seen any of the photos I took on the film. And I'm currently through I'm currently through half a roll in here. And I just enjoy it, yet I don't get to see the photos. And I'll talk a little bit more about this later on, but the reason why I create is because I want to share. I want to connect with people. I want to show the world through the way I see it. Even if my editing is changing, it's usually because the way I see the world is changing. Which sounds super deep, but really it's just, I used to, not be so, how do you say, optimistic. And my photos used to be quite faded and unsaturated. But since moving to the Netherlands and getting my life in order and attacking life head on and figuring out problems and just thoroughly enjoying my life, my editing has completely changed. It's far more vibrant. It's usually during the morning or evening when it's cold now. It's usually nice, rich, warm tones. And that's only recently because, let's be real, winter sucked. It was terrible. And the weather's still not great. I can hear the rain outside. But since I've gotten everything in order and my mind is so much more clear, so are my images. My editing style has completely changed, but my photos, the composition, the themes are still the same. It's just the way I look at things has changed. The way I perceive things has changed. And I love making photos and showing them because other people enjoy seeing how others see the world. And sure, big epic landscapes and beautiful lighting and amazing composition is going to get you likes and follows. But that's not what I'm here for. I'm not here to become famous for my photography. I'm here just to take photos for myself. If I were to turn my hobby into a career and actually make money from photography, awesome. That's an unintentional side effect that may happen, and if so, awesome. I'm not going to deny it. But in reality, at this moment in time, I make no money off of this, and it's all just for my own personal satisfaction and enjoyment of creating these images, which in turn make other people happy when they see them because they like the way they looked. They're aesthetically pleasing. And that's the thing with photography, is a lot of it's usually because people just want to create. They want to make something and they want to make it look cool and awesome and like aesthetically pleasing. And it's satisfying when you achieve that. And then you may, like myself, look back at your old work and realize how far you've come. And that just drives you to create more because you realize, actually, I'm getting pretty good at this. And I'm really satisfied by the results of my images. Now, I can't say that for every photo I posted on Instagram, but I create because it sparks an emotion of satisfaction in me. But there's so many hours that go into each photo. From analyzing to editing, to even before clicking the shutter, looking at the world, seeing something that I deem as worthy to capture because it's beautiful in its own right. And that's why I create. Because I see so much beauty in the world and I don't want that to go to waste. I hope that makes sense, because it's kind of hard for me to explain it, but yeah. I have a lot of things that I've been seeing whilst at work, because let's be real, I cycle a lot and I work 6 days a week, and that's awesome and all, but I get to observe the world whilst I work, and there's a lot of things I want to take photos of. I have a lot of ideas to achieve through making photos in the city, and eventually I'll get around to them. I'll make time for myself to actually make them during the right time of day, but it's something that just, it keeps me going. Photography, I don't know why, but I just have a constant drive to create with photography. It's easy for me to create. And I don't think I'll ever really stop taking photos and making photos, should I say. I hoped you enjoyed this video. There's not really much else I can say apart from rambling. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.